It's amazing how soon after I confessed my conversion, I got a visit, just to see if it was true. Satan can't read your mind. Did you know that? He can't read your mind. He can offer thoughts for you to take in, but he can't tell what you're thinking. He actually can't tell what your spiritual temperature is until you kick his butt, resist Satan, and he will flee from you. How do you do that? Well, sword of the Spirit, etc. Okay, but just like he said, evangelism, being a witness, bringing the light into the darkness is offensive. It's inherently offensive. Okay? As long as you do this in the most loving possible manner, when that person is offended and breaks their relationship and breaks your heart, it's not your job to fix it. Yes, you can keep praying for them. Yes, you should keep lifting them up. Should you track them to the ends of the world? No, the story of the loving father, prodigal son, he didn't chase his son down in the pig pen. He did wait till he had come to himself. But he was ready. He was ready. He saw his son afar off, okay, and ran to him, okay, and grabbed this pig stinky son, on the road. Yes, buddy?
I'm going to switch gears here just a little bit.
It's okay.
I'm going to ramble, so this might be an observation.
And I haven't?
One of the things that I find a huge source of frustration to me in the body is my so-called fellow believers who are, unbeknownst to them, and I was there, are so infected with a worldview in their theology of God.
Right.
It's sickening.
Yes.
And specifically, I've seen it in my Sunday school classes where everybody wants to tiptoe around Genesis. Okay. Because you have in the Christian body those who can't take God at his word, or he must have meant something else. And that whole issues of things
exactly.
like that.
Can't mean what it says.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So it's just like they'll say, well, when does it kick in for you?
Yeah. Exactly. Then what passages do mean what they say?
So, I guess the question is, how do you deal? We'll sit down, we'll have fellowship. I remember folks that I've kind of getting to know in my church. We sat around like over cookouts, and they are so steeped. Just called worldview, which comes with it. The atheist religion, which is evolution, and they're trying to, reconcile this worldview with this Christian view. It just doesn't work, and of course, then it turns into arguments, and then fellowship breaks down, et cetera, et cetera. So, I guess the observation, and then I guess I'll let you respond to it, is that it's frustrating because, you don't even know. Sometimes I'm afraid to ask my pastor or some of the leadership in the church, what does Genesis 1:1 and 1:2 mean to you?
Yeah.
So
I'm actually going to answer that question in a totally different way. It's a perfect question, and it's pervading the body of Christ. There's several different ways to come at this. Personally, one of the ways that really reinstills the fear of the living God in me is to meditate on his mercy. See, we talk about how loving God is and his grace, which really makes him a pretty fat, happy Santa. This is all the goodies. You get all the goodies here. But what about that mercy that's new every morning? See, mercy keeps us from getting what we do deserve. Okay? And if you meditate on not getting what you do deserve, it gives you a whole new perspective on how to relate to everybody around you. The lukewarm Christian that Jesus is about to vomit out, and I'd rather witness to a good old hardcore atheist than a lukewarm Christian any day of the week. Okay? And it's the same kind of thing as the postmodernist. You can say anything to them as long as you agree with them, they're fine. I've actually figured out how to, because I was on the church board. Oh, don't go into church politics, but on the church board, and there's always one, and you can always see this is the center of gravity of the church board. This person, virtually never the pastor, okay, and everything has to get out of the gravity well of this person. Sometimes they're a black hole, okay, and along with praying for them, what I've found is if you agree with them first and say, John, when you were saying so-and-so and so-and-so, that made me think, and you can go any direction you want from there, and as long as you've already agreed with them, you have already escaped their gravity well. Okay? And then, to a large extent, the rest of the folks in the near audience will have their eyes opened and say, well, yeah, we never really thought of it that way. Now, again, along those lines, what's Satan's number one tool? What's his number one tool? Deception, to blind you. Okay? Spiritual blindness. Not just for the lost, but for our brothers and sisters as well. Okay? And that's how, very often, you can read the Bible, you can go to church, you can go to the prayer group, and you are out there, because you've somehow agreed to, submitted to, been passive to this spiritual blindness that has come on you. Okay? And that's why it's very good to be accountable. And this may more answer your question, to be accountable to other Christians, that you respect their level of maturity and say, how am I doing? You see anything going on here I'm missing? They will, because they love you and they see